I am at the gym in Arizona. He was undressing in the locker room, top off, bra off, and Paul Bixler was in the women's locker room, and he looked at me and he looked at my breasts, and I have called the police. Recently, he's used the men's locker room, so he agrees himself that he's a man. I have told the police that I was in the locker room. A man was in there. I was getting undressed. He looked at me. He is a man in the women's locker room. And the response is that this is a touchy, sensitive issue in society. Yep, there he goes, women's locker room. There's the man going in the women's locker room. Hope there's no one undressing in there. Hope there's no naked women in there. Since there's a man in the, why isn't anyone warning the women? Just so everyone knows, he's not being arrested. We are at a point where we're catering to society instead of facts. This is alarming. Women's rights are being violated. And I'm not going to put up with it. So Paul, if you're a female, why do you use the men's restroom sometimes and the women's restroom sometimes?
Please stay away from it, please. Yes, politely, like I said.
He will suffer no consequences for this. Quick recap and update on the Paul Bixler situation. For those of you who don't know, in November, I spoke up at a school board dressed as a cat against Paul Bixler, who sits on the school board and dresses up as a woman, uses the female facilities at school events and at the elementary school with little girls. Last week, a video went viral of me at my gym. I was using the women's locker room, and Paul Bixler was also using the women's locker room. And because he had changed his driver's license to female, nothing was done. No arrests were made, and Paul Bixler continues to get to use female facilities at the school and at my gym. Those are the two experiences I have with Paul Bixler. Earlier this evening, I was notified that someone had come to a residence that I had previously resided at and saw paperwork attempting to be served. Paul Bixler is attempting to serve me with an injunction that would prevent me from going to my gym, which I've had a membership at for years, and would prevent me from speaking up at the school board where he sits in my community. He's attempting to file an injunction for harassment that would silence me from being able to speak out at a school board in my community, that would take away my First Amendment rights. I use the female facilities at a gym as a female, and I'm being filed a harassment suit against. Hello, my name is Lindsey Graham, and I am a cat. Meow, meow. I'm not a woman dressed as a cat. I am a cat. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe and confess that I'm a cat? Great. By show of hands, I'm curious, how many of you believe that your child or a child from this school would believe that I'm actually a cat? No one. You are right. Why? Because you are not stupid, and these children are not stupid. Truth prevails over imagination. Reality exists. Discernment is innate and something we are biologically wired to have. One look at me and you know this to be true. I am a woman posing as a cat. You may also think correctly that if I truly believe I'm a cat, I have a mental disorder. If I suffer from a mental disorder, and if I am unable to discern reality, am I safe to be around children? Would you put me in charge of making critical decisions about the safety and well-being of children and about the direction of their education when I cannot even discern truth from fiction? Confession. I'm not actually a cat, guys, just because I say I am. You've not agreed to or committed to addressing me as a cat simply because I demand it. No tail, whiskers, or outfit makes me a cat. Just like no lipstick, high heels, or long hair makes him a man, a woman. It is just as biologically impossible for me to become a cat as it is for a man to be a woman. And you have one job as members of this school board, and it's defined as this. School board members are responsible for broad, forward-thinking, minute analysis and decisive action in all areas that affect students and staff in their schools. I ask you, do you believe that the actions of a grown man playing dress up as a woman affects the students and staff positively or negatively? A public school is not the place for social experiments in altered realities or gender ideologies. It is not the place to celebrate a grown man with a mental illness, dressing as a woman and teaching kids lies. Children come to school to learn facts and truths about reality, including unchanging biological truths about science and nature, not to learn that they can change biological realities and become anything they want in the name of diversity. What you're actually doing is worse than just lying to our kids. You're forcing them to be participants in your lie, in your charade. You're forcing them to deny what they see with their eyes, and you're forcing them to speak lies. I ask you again, am I a cat? And if you say no, then the mindset must be aligned with your discernment across the board. By allowing a falsity to be displayed and paraded around the school, you teach children that truth is not existent, facts are not real, and biology is a lie. You fail at your job, your only job, by confusing children and teaching them untruths and to coddle a grown man playing dress up as a woman. If you were to address me as a cat right now, it's as ridiculous as when you say Miss Bixler and a grown man's voice comes thundering over the...
Thank you.